Good morning. Welcome to day 92, Quantum Liberty. This is the DeStress series, 16-week DeStress series. Here you go, birdies. There's your water. Hope this day's finding you well. Today on the phone with us, we have Elizabeth. Good morning, dear. Today, she's 7 years old. It's her birthday. Good morning. Well, today, so we were going to tap on some fun things. Elizabeth is in Connecticut, and she lives with her mom and dad. Her mom is a respiratory therapist in Connecticut. And Elizabeth, keep on tapping. Elizabeth was saying that her mom is really upset because there are people who are walking around without masks in Connecticut right now. And one of the things that is happening, so we're going to be tapping on that because this is our DeStress series for 16 weeks. We're going to go to 7/7 or 7/5, and so that's going to be July. And then if we have to, we'll go a little bit further. So what Elizabeth was sad about, right, dear, was that your mom said that people were walking around without masks. So that made you very, very, very sad. So we're going to, because her mom was very sad. And so what we're tapping on is that anger and that sadness that she has, and then envisioning radiant health. So we know that when we're walking around without masks, that we have this new variant in the United States. And so the United States has been doing really good with getting our numbers down so that we don't have such high numbers of cases and people getting sick for your mom to take care of. And then she can be home, regular time. She doesn't have to work overtime, right? And so what we wanted to do was just talk about what we can do to educate people. One of the things that is really important that we can do right now, because the masking is a really big deal. The CDC, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the chief medical officer, he was saying, his name is Dr. John Brooks, and he said that whatever we can do to improve the performance of masks right now will speed our control of this pandemic. That is so cool. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, so when we're tapping, we'll think about some other good things that we can do. And then also the Centers for Disease Control, they also talked about double masking. And the really neat thing about double masking, hi birdies, is that when you double mask for 15 minutes in a closed room, quiet breathing, that blocks 83% of the particles coming in. And we're not talking about really, really, really thick things where you can't breathe. We're just talking about a single surgical mask, keep on tapping, a single surgical mask, and then you could put 100% cotton over that or 100% silk. And those kinds of fabrics, what they do is they have the same number of electrons in the outer shell as the coronavirus, so the magnetic charge repels. At least that's what we were told in this critical care course, 8-hour critical care COVID course. So then when we are blocking, what we can do too is two people, if they have the double mask on, then it's blocking 96.4%. When you have both people double mask with, a closed fitting mask. And then they found that a surgical mask alone, that only blocks 42%. And for the cloth mask, that blocks 44.3%. So when you add a double mask to the environment, you're really, really improving your outcomes. So let's tap on the feelings of being under stress because your mom's seeing all these people without their mask on. And she's also, you guys are in a state where there are 36 states actually, but yours was one of the first 3 to go up in the numbers of cases, and that was 2 weeks ago. It was Connecticut, West Virginia, and Michigan. So what we can do is we can maybe come up with an idea, right? So you just do the tapping, and once we get through the anger that you have, then we'll keep on tapping. You're doing great. So once we get past the anger, then what we'll do is we'll be able to have some freedom in your prefrontal cortex to think about what the next best thing to do is. Now, people who have gone through a great amount of stress, they have a little bit more trouble going from, they do, because we have these 2 systems in our brain, right? And one of them is when you have a lot of stress in your environment, or you have a lot of trauma in the environment, maybe even from your past, your brain does this thing where it goes, instead of going around through the emotional centers in the 4 centers of the brain, instead of doing that, going there first and then deciding, oh, do I need to send it to the amygdala? Instead of that, that's called the long path. Instead of that, it takes a short path. So people who have trauma can tap on their trauma, right, and talk with professionals and people who you love about the trauma, and you can use the tapping too, and that will help to reduce your stress levels. But what it does, you can try saying this word, is it slows down the firing to your amygdala. Yes, amygdala, that's right. And the amygdala is in the brain. That's a fight flight. That says, run from the tiger. And our brains are hardwired to do that all the time. So what we can do is we can say, well, I feel stressed by that news that the number of cases of the South African variant are going up. And so I'm going to tap on that. I'm going to tap on that stress. And then what happens is, even though you have that image in your brain, because that's one of the things that the brain does, is it processes these thoughts, right? And so an image might be sent to your brain, but you have that. And when it gets sent to the amygdala, if you're doing your tapping, what will happen is it slows down the firing to the amygdala so that the amygdala doesn't send the oxygen to your arms and legs, but it stays in your prefrontal cortex where you can think about the next best thing to do. It's really, really, really cool. And the other thing it does is it lowers your cortisol levels. In 1 week of tapping meditation, it lowers your cortisol levels, your stress hormones, by 37%. And it also raises your immunoglobulins, in particular the immunoglobulin A's of the respiratory tract. And in this case, coronavirus likes to hang out in the respiratory tract. So if you boost up your immunoglobulin A's in your respiratory tract, you're doing it yourself, your body and your brain. Or instead of slushing around with this cortisol stress hormone, instead you have this lovely swish swash of less stress hormone and higher immunoglobulin A's. So I'm going to show you this picture from Bliss Brain. And this is the one of the brain, right? So here we go. There's the brain with someone who does not have a lot of trauma in their background. Their signals will go around to the emotional processing centers of the brain, and then it will get sent where it needs to go if it's needed to run, from danger or to freeze or to fight something. But otherwise, people who have consistent chronic stress, and the pandemic can actually lead us to that state. So I think it's a good idea to tap whenever you read something in the news or you see something, scary, because then that will slow down this instantaneous firing straight down the amygdala to the body. But and keep things up here, especially in your prefrontal cortex, where you can think about the next best thing that you want to do. So that's a cool picture. So let's start tapping. We'll tap on any resistance that we have to feeling absolutely healthy and brilliant, vibrant health. And maybe we'll tap on some of the anger that your mom, you're seeing that your mom has, and it makes you angry that people are walking around without masks when your mom has to work so hard to take care of them. So how about, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Okay. So Elizabeth says yes. All right, so we'll tap on that, and we're going to tap on deserving this radiant health, and we're going to tap on being that radiant image. All right, so let's imagine first, I want you to drop the tongue onto the bottom of your mouth and just relax it. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And I want you to imagine yourself running and playing and skipping and jumping and having a great time, running around with your friends and being very, very radiantly healthy. You can feel the air on your skin, the morning dew. Right, you can hear the sounds of the birds, maybe the ocean, maybe the wind in the trees. And feel how vibrant and healthy your body is. Now open your eyes and let's start tapping. And repeat after me. Tapping on the karate chop point. So you remember all the points? Here, inner eyebrow, right on the inside of the eyebrow where the hair meets the eye line, and you can do 2 or 3 fingers. And then outside the eye, that's right there where the eyebrow ends, right on the bone, not back here, but here. And then under the eye, right there on that bone. And then under the nose, right here. The chin, where that line is, if you've got one, but it's kind of a little crease. And then the collarbone is about, you follow the bones down, the neck down, and you feel these bones, and go down an inch and out towards the shoulders an inch. And I usually use like 5 fingers. You can do left hand, right hand, both hands. Can't do elbows. Under the armpit is here, just down 4 fingers. Like for women, it's the bra line. And the top of the head, isn't that fun? Woo-hoo! Okay, so Elizabeth, here we go. Even though I have all this anger, because I'm watching my mom go through stress, and it makes me wonder what I can do to help. And I feel so sad about that. I appreciate all these feelings in me. And I love and I accept myself. With these feelings, exactly as I am. Good, sweetheart. Even though I have all these feelings that are rising up inside of me because I don't know what to do to help my mom, help my dad, to feel better about these people with no mask walking around. I know I can tap and I can take care of my body and I can take care of my emotions by doing the tapping. Even though I have all these feelings inside me that are rising up, and that's okay, because that's what we want them to do. The tapping helps them whoosh rise right up and out of me. And I drink lots of water to keep everything moving. And I deeply and completely accept myself with every emotion inside me. Even though, we're going to do one more, I have these feelings inside me, I accept myself and I love myself exactly as I am. Tapping on the inside of the eye. These feelings. I sure have all these feelings inside me. There they are. I'm really mad. I get so angry. People walking without masks. When the South African variant is rising in 36 states. It's such a simple thing to do. Wear a mask or don't wear a mask. And luckily we have the vaccine too. Initial reports, but we need another 6 months, say it's 90% effective. The vaccines against South African variant too. When I do the tapping, I lower my cortisol levels. That's my stress hormone. It goes in my body and my brain. And I lower it in 1 week of tapping and meditation, 37%. Woohoo! I deserve to feel this radiant health. I don't have to resist any anger inside of me. I can tap on it. And the tapping lowers the stress hormone. And also, research shows it increases my happiness levels. 30% in 1 week. I get great neurohormones and great neurotransmitters zipping around my body and my brain. Like dopamine, my reward hormone. It says, go get it. Oh, Elizabeth, that's great. She said she's just going to make some, signs to put up at the places. I'm 7 and my mom works in critical care. Wear a mask, please. Great idea. See, the tapping already helped. You have all that oxygen in your prefrontal cortex, so think about that. And you have serotonin. Your I've got it hormone. I deserve this radiant health. I am walking in radiant health. I am radiant health. I am talking in radiant health. I am believing in radiant health. I perceive in radiant health. With or without coronavirus, in my environment, I am radiant health. I am walking and talking and running and skipping in radiant health in mind, body, and spirit. Aww. Deep breath in and out. Oh, I hope you feel much better. Love you so much. Happy birthday, sweetheart.